Morning, morning, morning. This is day two of your 3 day experience to help you double your income and your income and impact. Oh my goodness. What a day already it is. So I am super excited to be here and to be helping you. So for those that haven't seen yesterday's, I will just do a little recap. So you can always go back and check yesterday. So in case you don't know where the other videos are, you can go into the guides. I've created a guide with the 3 day experience, and you can go back to part one, obviously. Okay, so feel free to go and catch up. So I'm going to go and share my screen, and I will do a bit of a intro what we're going to be doing today. So there it is. So today we are going to talk about a very exciting subject. It's about building systems. And so I don't know about you, but if you are at a stage where you are already doing one-to-one, you've already created something smaller, some smaller group programs, and you would really like to scale and get clients in and leads in more on autopilot so that you don't have to do so many manual things over and over in your business, then this system will actually help you today. And just to clarify, yesterday, so I have a 9-step blueprint that I'm taking you through over the 3 days, and each pillar has 3 steps. So, what did we do yesterday, and why is it so important? So, yesterday we really looked at the first 3 steps, which are the pivot level, which is sort of the bottom level. It's about creating a solid foundation and really understanding where we are in our businesses right now and where we would like to take our businesses. It's almost like setting our sat nav and knowing, where where do you want to be, and what time frame as well, and how are we going to get there. So it's really about creating massive clarity, and it is super super important, because if we don't have that clarity, how will we know, how we want to grow the business, how big we want to grow the business, how many people we can serve, how much money do we want to make, who do we want to actually work with, and how do we work in our business, how many hours do we want to work. So all of these boundaries are being defined in the first 3 steps. So if you haven't watched that yet, go back in the guide section, and I'm giving you also some tools around setting some success habits every single day, because really it's about getting you out of the overwhelm and getting you into a state of clarity. Because when you have a state of clarity, you are more likely to succeed in whatever you would like to do in your business. And you have much more clarity and focus, and that actually reduces your overwhelm. Okay, so that's the key around that. And this whole journey, really, if you look at it, builds on 3 different levels. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about the monetization level. So the third part is all about how do I get leads and how do I convert into sales. But when we look at the starting point on the bottom left hand side, we have obviously your starting point may be like you're confused, you're overwhelmed, you don't have enough leads or sales, or if you do have already a business, then you're doing lots of one-to-one work and sort of lots of manual things, and you are perhaps posting on social media a lot, and you may be not getting the traction, and you really want to put something in place long term to actually reduce some of that overwhelm, some of that manual kind of posting and laboring, and would like to put some system in place, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Um, and yeah, and I guess long term, what kind of effect does it have if you don't have a sort of a system, or if you don't have clarity, or if you can't convert your leads into sales? Because I guess followers and likes are one thing on Facebook, on Instagram, but it's about converting them and having those follow-ups and conversations and sales calls, I guess, as well at the end, or some sales pages where they can make a decision to come and buy from you, and or perhaps you want to run webinars or challenges and things like that. Okay, so if you don't have that kind of thing in place, and where what your rhythm is in your business and what you're doing every single day to create those conversations, then ultimately your business is not going to grow. So this is why this is so super important to have a system in place and to know what you're actually doing every single day in order to enable you to actually grow your business. Otherwise, it's just going to stay a hobby, unfortunately, if you just sporadically do stuff. And if you look at your bank balance, maybe that's not growing either. So, in order to really take your business forward, you will need to have these 9 steps in place. So take it from me. I've gone round in circles many, many times. And then once I cracked this, I went from zero, pretty much from zero to over 100 clients in 90 days. And you put this in place once properly. Of course, you perhaps want to tweak later on, but once you've got this in place once, you have it, right? You have it in place. So it is super, super important. And the question is, well, why is it important now? Why not later? Because people, especially women entrepreneurs who are in the field of more wellness space, I know you love coaching, and you just, the whole tech thing and systems and processes may overwhelm you. But I made it hopefully very, very simple and show you, what the steps are in what order. And there's always an opportunity if you feel you do need help. I'm going to leave a link. You can actually book a call with me. We can have a conversation. I have several different programs, several different budgets as well, length as well. So depending what you need, I can offer something that fits what you might need. Okay, so don't hesitate to hop on a call. So so let's go to the build phase. So the build phase is the second level. And by the way, if you do have questions, please leave them. I will come and answer them later. I'm just going to go through the presentation first, and any questions I will handle towards the end. So basically, the way it works, it's you walk from left to the right, then you go up, and then from the right to the left. So it's kind of backwards. Okay, so the fourth step in this process really is your power core message. Okay, so let me just check. My laptop's a little bit weird, making some funny noises. Just want to make sure I am live. I am live, yes. It's still working. Right, it's going on overdrive, I think. So yeah, so the power core message is one of the things. So if you remember, the customer mojo was the third step in the first lesson. This was all about you finding out who your customer actually is, and really in detail, what are they suffering with, and then you, on top of that, now you know who you're working with, what solution you can provide, and what the time frame is. We're actually going to work in detail today about give you a worksheet for the power core message to help you exactly with that. Okay, so we're going to go into detail power core message. I'm going to leave that now, but once you have a power core message, which is almost like an elevator pitch, you know exactly what you stand for, who you work with. So there's your clarity, and you can clearly also address this or communicate this to your ideal client. Now, the signature solution is your solution. What is your methodology? Do you have an own methodology that you can put together? And I know perhaps you have lots of different tools in your toolkit. What is your methodology that has your stamp on it and that said, cries out as your name, and this is how you do business, this is how you create that transformation for your clients? So this is really important to have something that makes you stand out from the crowd of other coaches and therapists and consultants. So if you have your own methodology and you can showcase that, like I'm showcasing my own 9 steps to get predictable sales in 90 days right now, you can see that on the header. This is my own technology, methodology, which I have created over years and years of implementing different things and being in different masterminds and I don't know, all kinds of things I did in terms of online marketing space. I've been there. I've done it. I've written books. I've done podcasting, online TV, masterminds. I've ran monthly membership programs. Oh gosh, I've pretty much webinars, challenges. So I've done everything. I've put everything in a mix, and then I've depicted it and said, well, actually, in order to reduce the overwhelm, how do we create that business where the different puzzle pieces are actually fitting together and make sense and will drive results without the frustration and the overwhelm? And that's what my power core message is, right? And I work with female entrepreneurs who want to create that consistent income without overwhelm, frustration, and detours. So there's my signature solution, my methodology. So what is that for you? Do you have a methodology in place? Only once you have that methodology, I would then recommend to go and create some of these digital assets. I call them digital assets. And by the way, tomorrow we're going to create one of your digital assets, which is super, super key, which is a lead magnet. It's something that you can give away and that a lead or a potential client would like to have from you. So tomorrow is super exciting. I love to teach lead magnets, and it's a really useful thing to have. But other things, digital asset wise, is obviously before you can distribute lead magnets, you might want to have a page where people can download the lead magnet and they would enter an email address, their name and their email address, and then at the back end you send them an email with your lead magnet. And then maybe you want to follow up with a couple of emails. So there's your email nurture sequence. So there's like the beginning of creating an email list. So that's one of the digital assets. There are other digital assets. So a lead magnet itself is a workbook. It could be a video. We'll talk about this in detail tomorrow as to what is the best lead magnet and what lead magnets tend to work better than others. But it could be different, obviously, media. So it could be a video, it could be an audio, it could be a workbook. A digital asset could be a sales page. A digital asset could be an email. It could be a bot, a messenger bot, using messenger bots. So, or it could be a Facebook posts, Instagram posts. These are all digital assets that you're building up over time. And I found that, and with my clients as well, just talking about this yesterday, that sometimes building up these digital assets in itself can be such an overwhelm, because you arrive one day and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't actually know what I should be doing today. You know, I want to be visible, I want to be more visible, but it's like, what do I do that drives drives the results for me? What's the best way for me to do this with in a way that's not so overwhelming? Because obviously, if I told you go and write a 30-day email sequence and 100 posts for Facebook and Instagram, it's like, oh my gosh, when am I going to get started? That's awful, right? So it's really about creating that system where you can then repurpose and, you know, in a way that's not overwhelming. Again, this is something I do teach and I help my clients with, actually creating a system for themselves so that they always know what they're going to be posting, because everything they post and anything they do within the realm of being visible actually fits within their signature solution, because there's going to be always things they can talk about and things that they're going to solve, or the problems that they solve for their clients. It's always within that realm. And so it becomes really easy to create those digital assets. So that's one thing. The other thing is obviously building everything and making everything work together. And again, if, you know, it's easier nowadays, right? A few years ago when I started, I had so many different software components, and it was just really, really frustrating for me to figure out what has to go together, how do you connect the different pieces up. And I even ended up coding bits and pieces to make sure that my email autoresponder talks to my landing page where I collected the leads. And it was a nightmare because there were so many bugs in there. So now you have like really great software tools that can do everything for you. and it's much, much easier. Again, this is something that I help my clients with. So if you want to book a call and say, well, actually, I just want to create my digital assets, how can you help me? We actually do step-by-step programs and very quick sort of 5-day implementation with our clients, so that with like, if it was Monday today, by Friday you have your whole kind of mini sales funnel built, and we do this with you, because we want you to actually understand how to do it yourself in future, but we do it with you. Obviously, you're not having to sort of mind boggle over the software, and then later on you can go and change it over, or you can duplicate if you have another something else that you want to sell. So this is very important, because obviously if you were to say a website, so digital asset could be a website. A lot of my clients say, well, I want to create a website first. People I speak to generally say, I need to have a website first. I'm saying, well, why do you need that website? Is it really important to have that website? A website is really like a brochure page where you can present everything that you do, because obviously you have different pages, different tabs, about me, work with me, contact me, and all that stuff. So it doesn't really focus your audience when they get onto that website um, to go and buy something or to take a particular. So you got to be very mindful as to how you're going to use the website. So the website potentially isn't the main solution. I would always say start with a small lead magnet. I'd say it is a funnel, so it's almost like a range of pages, potentially where you have a front page with an opt-in. So this is your lead magnet. So tomorrow we'll create that lead magnet. You'll have that opt-in page where people can enter the email, the name, the email, and then it will email them. Firstly they get to a second page, which is called the thank you page. In the background, it will trigger an email to deliver the freebie. And on the second page, the thank you page, quite often people are making the mistake that they say, thanks very much for downloading your lead magnet, go to your inbox and collect it there. And that's it. They're not making use of that asset. It is an asset because you have people's attention. So you need to do something different with that particular page. So what I do is I actually create a mini webinar. And again, something that we teach inside all our programs, how to create that mini webinar. And it could be like just a 10-15 minute webinar script that I give my clients, and they go and video that webinar. Okay. And at the end of that webinar, they will give a call to action to say, come and book a call with me. And the next step, so instead of just whizzing off to the inbox and never to be seen again, they have your attention. They watch that video, you're on camera, they get to know you, like you, trust you. You provide some value, teach something to them. Maybe you want to teach something related to that lead magnet, to the thing that you had created for free, to accompany that and show them how they can use that in their lives, in their business. And that's appreciated, right? So it's an additional bonus training. And then at the end, it's a call to action, book a call, and then we connect that up with the calendar link. So you might have a calendar where people can book in a call and speak to you. Well, that's one way, of course. I mean, there are other ways where which you can do business. If you have lower paid programs to sell, so I wouldn't probably get on a call with someone for a $27 ebook or something like this, right? So you could have on that thank you page like a $27 thing as well that you can sell. So there are different options. So I'm just saying, these are all digital assets and considerations. You want to attract new leads coming in, on a regular basis. And my goodness, I mean, I have a number of lead magnets out there, and I always have leads coming in like 24/7, and I have no idea anymore where these links are. I've created one quite recently for Clubhouse, because Clubhouse is obviously an upcoming app, and I created a starter guide for Clubhouse, and within 24 hours, just in one particular Facebook group where I had posted it, the test to see how people liked it, I had over 150 women opting into that particular lead magnet. So I have them on my email list now, and and we were starting to have more conversations. So that's the beginning, and that'll be the monetization when we talk But tomorrow, I'm going to talk about, right, what do we now do with these leads? Okay, so how do we track the leads? What do we do with these leads? And where can we find these people as well? Like I've shared with you a couple of Facebook groups, perhaps. And obviously, there are other options that you can do. You can have paid advertising, of course, and you can also have some organic sort of places where you can network and get your word out. So we'll do that tomorrow. But today we're going to work on your power core message. So if you remember, if you look at this slide, that subheadline I've got there is my power core message, and it has different components. So what is that for you? And I'd like you, that's your homework for today, is to create that power core message. Now I know it may not be as easy as it looks, and you might have to go through a couple of iterations, and maybe I'll go through and redo mine as well at some point, right? So it's a living thing, but let's just start somewhere. So when you are networking, when you are doing Facebook Lives, whatever it is, you have that message straight away. What is that you do? Well, I help female entrepreneurs, therapists, and coaches who want to create consistent income without overwhelm, frustration, and detours. And I'll do that by taking them through my signature program, or my methodology, which is the 9 steps to get predictable sales in 90 days. So we have a time frame there as well. And predictable sales is a return on investment. So it really makes you probably think, well, why would I invest in and work with someone like Sabina? Well, your return on investment is to get predictability into your business, and to be able to scale and get some automation in, and understand what's currently not working and how to tweak it. Okay? And do that in 90 days. And I say that because people want some sort of instant gratification, and you need to pick your time frame. So what's your program? What's the length that you can do a transformation? There has to be some sort of timing around it, because if there was no timing around it, they'd be like, well, when can I expect results? By when can I expect these results, right? You got to give some sort of indications. So we're going to do this now. We have a little workbook. Oh yeah, I do have a little example. I just want to showcase a little bit. This is real. This is really working in the market. We're doing this every single day. When I teach my clients, they do this and they have huge results, right? So, for example, here's a case study around how someone's created a lead magnet, got a clear roadmap together, showed up consistently, and now has an ecosystem as to how to get leads and how to convert them into sales. So here is Noreen. Noreen works with horses. So she is a holistic therapist and works with horses. So one of the things that we actually did together that I talked about today is to create her signature solution. And as you can see, it looks very similar to mine, because I have the template. I have a template. I give my clients a template so they don't have to start from scratch, because or the whole design thing may be another sort of overwhelm. So don't worry, I've got all the templates as well. But the fact is that she really had to think about what is she actually teaching her clients, and how what kind of transformation is she giving them, because it was really, really unclear as to how the horses and the therapy that she does is actually giving that transformation. And she was hiding for the longest time and not really wanted to speak about it. So what happened was, obviously, she built that clarity, that roadmap. And as you can see, she has, like, in the foundation, primary principles, and connection and join up. So she has those levels, and this is all about unleashing your inner power in 12 weeks. And she's created this for leaders who, now this is her power core message, who want to find the purpose, direction, and increase confidence, right? So the benefits through the revolutionary program that taps into the power of the horses. So this is much clearer now as to what's the outcome. And of course, she wrote about the solution. This is about 12-week, and then all the benefits as well. So here is a really, really great example of how that works. And not only that, I'm really proud of her, because as she was hiding for the longest time, because of this work, She grew massively in her business. She added more programs. She did online, offline workshops. Before she was only offline. She did, obviously, pandemic hit, and then she wanted to do more stuff online as well, and also expand into the corporate area. But what happened next was she was actually nominated to be Businesswoman of the Year in 2020, which was huge for her, huge sort of, recognition of her work, and she showing up consistently and also being clear around her message and her work and really standing behind it and owning it. So I'm really, really proud of her. So that's Noreen. So it just goes to show that if you do that work, it really, really pays off. Now, this is the fill in the blank thing, and this is me. I love that kind of stuff. So it really helps you be very focused and very, very clear around creating that power core message. So basically, it's about thinking about those 5 points that I have here, right? So, question number one, what kind of people do you help? Question number two, what do you help them achieve? What's the ultimate thing that they will be able to do once they've worked with you? Number three, what's the benefit for them? What's the thing that they couldn't do before they worked with you, and now all of a sudden? So it could be a wealth benefit, so it could be financial, it could be a relationship benefit, or it could be some sort of wellness related, like mental wellness or physical wellness. So these tend to be the three major ones. And then what's the time frame? So how quickly can they get the results? And what are the current fears and the prior disappointments? Because what happens is they probably have tried something before, right? They have tried something before, especially with, for example, diets and things like this, right? And then they failed. They couldn't do it. So maybe there was not lack of accountability. Maybe there was no system. Now you're going to have a system because you got that, that signature solution. So they see that clearer pathway as well. And the same with business, right? So in business, perhaps you have already taken or worked with other coaches, and you think, well, actually, why should I work with another coach? Because perhaps it's not going to work again for me. It hasn't worked in the past. And so there are some beliefs around this. And if you can clearly communicate what you're doing differently, other coaches, like I could say, well, actually, when you work with me, I've already sussed out a lot of the kinks as to what stopped me. I'll continuously ask my own clients, what is stopping you right now, where you're stuck? And we are sort of working through the kinks as well, making sure that where they're stuck and overwhelmed, I then provide them with clearer guidance, with even some templates like these. And when it comes to things like technology, then we actually have everything ready for you, and we do like a with you thing rather than you having to sit down for hours and learn a new software. And we even recommend the software. We help you set the software up. We vet the lead magnet. Will help you test it. We'll give you ideas as to how to do surveys. We even give you questions for surveys. So it's about looking at where would people get stuck and what would stop them from succeeding to get this transformation, and you then telling them, this is how I do this differently, and I've got your back. Okay, so that's number 5, because there will have been previous frustrations or frustrations why they can't do it themselves. There are people who are on YouTube and watching reading books and trying to build their businesses on their own, but at some point they just get stuck because there's not enough feedback, there is not that accountability. So that's perhaps then a good argument to say, well, why don't you work with us? We have different programs, different length of programs for different budgets, but at least we can work together and we can help you overcome some of these difficulties and help you understand some of the context, right? And not just the content, because people need context as to how they can implement stuff in their business rather than just, here's another load of information and another thing that you could be doing in your business. So it's helping to implement. And I think that goes for every coach, every service provider on the planet. It's about helping people to implement and to get to that transformation. It's not about giving them a load of information and chuck it over the fence. No, it's about helping them get to a transformation. That's what they pay for. That's really what they pay for. And this is what we want to put into our Power Core message. So I don't know if you can see the bottom here, it just says here, StreamYard is sharing a window. Let me just move that, right? So it says, what are current fears and prior disappointments pertaining to other solutions? And so what were the pain points, like diets, I could say. If there was a diet, without having to avoid chocolate, for example, that's ideal, right? So what is that for you? What's the thing that you do better without the sort of frustration and pain point? And once you have these 5, so don't move forward without having the 5, because it makes that Power Core message, fill in the blanks, much easier. Because the next slide is about putting it together. But we have the 5 points, exactly how it is. We put it together into a sentence. So my example is above. I help who? So now we have number 1, the first box. So female spiritual coaches achieve what? Create a predictable sales so that they can benefit, increase their income in time frame less than 90 days without pain point, frustration, and overwhelm. So there's your sentence. It's I help who, which we had the who. If we go up to the previous page again, we had the who, the what, benefit, the time frame, and the pain point. So all you need to do is put it into a sentence, and that's your homework. Please put it below this video. I'd love to see your Power Core message, and maybe we can improve it, or if you want some feedback, please do so. All right. Yeah, that's me for today. So tomorrow we're going to create the lead magnet. And as I already said, if you would like to understand a bit more about the work I do and how I create this clear roadmap, a clear path with my clients, where they want to go, we have different things, different budgets, different time frames. Do get a call with me. Here is a link. It's also above in the video, above the video in the description. What you do is just click the link and find a time that suits you and book in a call with me. We're going to get on a Zoom call and we just have a conversation. I will never sell anything to anyone if they don't need it. Okay, I'm a really straightforward person. I hate to be sold to. This is a conversation about seeing where you are in your business and what is it that where you want to go, okay, and where are you stuck. And if there is a way that I can help you, I will talk to you about the different options, different budgets. Okay, that's how it's going to work. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you thought of training as well. Any takeaways, feedback. Do come and join me again tomorrow, same time, same place, where we're going to be creating your lead magnet. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and come back and see if you have any questions. Please let me know. I am on StreamYard, so I don't always see everything. I'll have to probably go back into the Facebook group, so I do apologize and send you lots of love. We'll see you then.